So, hi, everybody, and welcome to The Blessing. It's our monthly blessing here at Best Friends. And my name's Patty Hegwood, and I've been with Best Friends going on 20 years now. And I have to say, this has been one of the most magical places on the sanctuary with regard to spiritual nature and the spirit in which it was set up to honor the animals that have given so much, so greatly, and to also celebrate their lives. A long time ago, we made a concerted effort and a decision that this would be more of a place of celebration and to let you do you. You know, if you want to laugh, you want to cry, you want to ring the chimes, whatever it is you want to do, we're celebrating these guys, right? And our connection to them. And that's really super important. And today, I wanted to talk a little bit about, we all have our journeys that bring us here. And when we're working to create a life for these guys that, you know, that that we want them to know that they're loved beyond measure, there's always that moment, always, it's going to happen where you have to say goodbye. And the sad reality is that mostly we outlive these guys. So what does this do for us? This makes us really super brave because we love knowing most likely we're going to be saying goodbye to them before they say goodbye to us. And we live in this really weird space because we wouldn't want to go and leave them behind because we would think they have an uncertain future, but then we don't want them to leave us. So it's a really crazy, tenuous place we live in. And one of the things that I've been really uh, just starting to dig into is something called anticipatory grief. And have you all heard of that? No, you have. It's an interesting concept because um, people and the animals leave us in a variety of ways, and sometimes it's suddenly, and that's a shock. But many times we are caregivers to the people and the animals in our lives, knowing that either they have been diagnosed with something that's not going to you know, have a preferred outcome that we would like, and we live in this space of anticipatory an ending, and how do we face that? And what does that look like? Because sometimes it throws people into a space of despair, anger, tears, aggression, anxiety. I mean, it's just like a whole host of emotions that accompanies the facing down that loss. And when we have people and we have animals in our lives that we know are going to be departing soon, it's a really good idea to reach out and to talk to others about it and to do things that perhaps just recently, my cat O'Malley, 22 years, no lie. You probably knew O'Malley. Everybody's met O'Malley. He was the board chairman of every meeting in my office. He ruled our house. He didn't want to be in a kennel in the car. You open the door and he'd walk out the car like, sup, and he was just the king of his castle wherever he was. And um, we knew that we were facing the end. We knew he had lymphoma. And I'm like, what do you think, buddy? Do you think we're going to take one more trip cross country and go to New Orleans and go see your grandma and your dad and hang out? And he was like, yeah. And so he rode right alongside me. He had his Yeti in the middle that kept his water cold, and that's what he drank out of. And he ate his temptation treats all the way there. And I have to tell you, I did kind of roll up a little bit like thunder under that shade. But if you look closely, his ashes are on the dashboard, and that's where they'll stay because he's the ultimate road warrior. And so we went home to New Orleans, and he had some of the best weeks of his life with his buddies, and he he passed, and he came back, and he's with me wherever I go. And the reason I tell you this is that after 22 years, the logical mind will say, well, 22 years with a cat, come on, that's like a lot of time. But then you also think, well, heck, I was 40 when I got him. There's a whole lot that has happened since then. And we've shared so many things, and he was like a fixture in our lives, right? So you have to honor that. And so it made me start thinking from an anticipatory grief perspective, what kind of ending do we want? How do we want to make it the best it possibly can be for him? Where do we find that grassy patch where he gets to walk around and eat all the grass he wants and we're not going to worry about him throwing up, you know, and really get to strut his stuff and let him out in the grand way that he would like? And so I just wanted to bring this forward today for everyone to consider, you know, what is that preferred ending? What is that preferred ending for yourself? You know, we'd all like to think we would Thelma and Louise it at some point, but probably not. I'm not that brave. But, you know, what does that look like? And honoring the life that they shared with us.
Hi, I'm Byron Owens. I'm one of the caretakers here at Angel's Rest. And I'd like to share with you some of the names of the animals that have passed here at the sanctuary this month. From cats, we have Crosby, Bates, Vinalis, Radar, Van Gogh, and Little Benton. From dogs, we have Hugh, Tootsie, Sandy, and Rhino. From horses, we have Roy, Asia, Dudley, and Donkey. From wild friends, we have Mike, Valiant, King, Peep, and Ginny. We've also received some tributes for Winston, Sugar, Miss Bean, Lucky, Tempe, Jill, Roxy, Archie, Scout, Butterscotch, Ralph, Buddy, Kathleen, Bew, Shadow, and Tiffany, Flash, Miss Feisty, Kibby, Jack, Tugger, Hermione. I'm going to say it wrong. Hermione. There we go. Little Man, Francis Forte, Frogman, Bella and Poppy, Clancy, Max, George, Gus, Rags, Peter, Huckleberry, Oscar, Charlie, Spoke, Honey, Miss, Shadow, Petey, Sunday, and Jackie. I also have a couple stories that have been submitted I'd like to read for you. And this is from Jennifer. Our dear Minnie, we only knew you for a short time, and we don't know what your life was like before. We hope that your last days with us brought you comfort and love. You are oh so loved and missed. Doris wrote to us about her beloved black lab, Buckeye. Buckeye was rescued by us 24 hours before being put down due to overcrowding at the shelter. He was the star of our neighborhood and liked to sit and snuggle with any person that he met. He loved playing with his older brother, also a black lab, who had passed away. Then he adopted an 8-week-old Labrador, and they shared many good times together. He was her guardian against the coyotes or any dog who challenged her. He also became the mascot for our veterinarian hospital and was treated with special attention. When the diagnosis of cancer was made, the staff helped us hospice him at home for 3 weeks. When the time came, half the staff crowded in around him for goodbyes. We were privileged to have him as our guardian for 8 years, and his legend lives on. We also have a couple caregivers who would like to share some stories about some of the animals here at Best Friends.
Hi everyone, I'm Jess and I work in Dogtown. I'd like to talk about a few of the dogs that passed away this month. In puppies, we lost Rhino, who came to us from the Navajo Nation with his mom and littermates. Unfortunately, some of them developed parvo, and sometimes, despite our best efforts at our clinic and with our care staff, sometimes puppies just don't make it because they can become so fragile so quickly, and Rhino unfortunately passed away. I'm happy to say the rest of his litter mates were able to survive and they've all been adopted. But I just wanted to pay tribute to Rhino. Also, Sandy and Tootsie were rescued out on the Navajo reservation by one of our staff members. He found their mom and them in a culvert in a storm and saved them from flooding, basically. And they were just very weak and fragile from the start, unfortunately, and we did so much to try and help them. But Sandy passed away, and then our staff member, Megan, fostered Tootsie to try and give him a fighting chance, but we were just unable to save him. So they both passed away. We also lost Hugh, who lived at Maggie's in Dogtown. I'm just going to read from one of Hugh's caregivers. We helped Hugh, also known as Hugo from Los Angeles, cross the Rainbow Bridge. Hugh joined the Maggie's team from LA. Once here, we quickly discovered he was meant to be a desert dweller. Hugh spent much of his time sunbathing outside, playing with his stuffed hedgehogs, going for walks, and offering up the best high fives. His last night he got to spend with one of his favorite people, his former foster mom. He was spoiled with endless treats, and he was served breakfast in bed. We hope Hugh now lives on in an able body and ears and no allergies, so he can eat whatever he likes. We don't know his whole story before coming to Best Friends LA, but we are so thankful for the love he was shown during his time as a Best Friends pup by caregivers and volunteers and staff. I also just want to take a minute. Dogtown lost a very special person this morning. We have a local volunteer who has been with us for many, many years named Penny Nelson Newman. And she passed away this morning, and I know that our Dogtown hearts are grieving, and she will be greatly missed. Ironically, Penny was one of Hugh's best friends. So not only did Hugh greet Penny, but so many dogs and foster cats, I have to mention, cats. Penny had many foster cats, so many dogs and cats, I know, greeted her at the bridge with open arms, but we will greatly miss her.
Thank you, Jess. I also wanted to add that Penny wanted, before she departed, to be arrested. And with our local law enforcement, they complied and went with pink handcuffs to her house and arrested her for not having enough dogs.
Hi, my name is Candace. I am a caregiver here. I've been with Best Friends since 2015. Last year in September, I took home one of my favorite cats from Cat World, Little Benton. He was a legend. He was iconic. He greeted volunteers. He was a rock star, stroller rider. Everyone loved him. But he was old and he had had a really hard life, and the years started to catch up to him. So I took him home in September, and I knew we weren't going to have a lot of time left, but we put a whole lifetime of love into those 9 months that we have together, and I just wanted to come here and honor his memory and also express my gratitude to Best Friends for saving his life twice because he got adopted and then he lost his person, and so he had to come back. I'm just so grateful to Best Friends for taking care of him for all those years and keeping him safe until he was ready to come home and live out his life with me. He was the best cat ever.
Hi, my name is Shauna Goldberry, and I just want to express my gratitude to Best Friends for providing this space, a sacred space, to recognize the significant contributions that our fur babies and honestly all creation makes into humans' lives. It was really special as I was driving up when my Zoe girl's buried here, over here, and when I was bringing her up for her interment, it was a huge storm and the roads were all, and this was 4 years ago, the roads were all flooded. And today when I was driving up, I'm nearing the anniversary for passing and the roads were flooded again. And I was wanted just to say how grateful I am for the kindness of the staff and the beautiful services and poetry and thoughts and so oftentimes it seems like the general circle of people in our lives perhaps aren't quite sure perhaps how to share our grief, and the grief walk, everyone does it different, right? And here I know that I can openly share my joy and my sorrow over my remembrance of my fur babies. And my Duca, I just wanted to pay tribute to his life. He was Porter and Cecilia's big brother, and he died in a we were involved in a pedestrian automobile accident. And Cecilia saved our lives, and unfortunately, Duca, he was in his wagon because he had paralysis, and he was hit by the car. But the one thing that I learned in that, and the one thing I've learned through all of the beautiful shares I've heard in here over the years is that moments of tragedy are like this tiny, and that the lives of our fur babies are like this big, right? And our lives as well, and to celebrate the joy rather than the sorrow. And thank you. That's all I'd like to say.
We as an organization are facing down a anticipatory loss, and I found these two poems, and I just want to try and get through them. So if y'all give me some good energy, great smiles, and they really spoke to me today, and so I want to share them with you. This is for our fur babies. I Only Wanted You by Vicky Holder. They say memories are golden. Well, maybe that's true. I never wanted memories. I only wanted you. A million times I needed you. A million times I cried. If love alone could have saved you, you never would have died. In life, I loved you dearly. In death, I love you still. In my heart, you hold a place no one could ever fill. If tears could build a stairway and heartache make a lane, I'd walk the path to heaven and bring you back again. Our family chain is broken and nothing seems the same. But as God calls us one by one, the chain will link again. And I love Mary Oliver. This is no secret. And she always has there's always something befitting in her poetry. So I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. This is called When Death Comes. When death comes like a hungry bear in autumn, when death comes and takes all the bright coins from his purse to buy me and snaps the purse shut, when death comes like the measles pox, when death comes like an iceberg between the shoulder blades, I want to step through the door full of curiosity, wondering, what is it going to be like, that cottage of darkness? And therefore, I look upon everything as a brotherhood and a sisterhood. And I look upon time as no more than an idea. And I consider eternity as another possibility. And I think of each life as a flower, as common as a field daisy, and as singular. And each name a comfortable music in the mouth, tending, as all music does, toward silence. And each body a lion of courage and something precious to the earth. When it's over, I want to say all my life I was a bride married to amazement. I was the bridegroom taking the world into my arms. When it's over, I don't want to wonder if I have made of my life something particular and real. I don't want to find myself sighing and frightened or full of argument. I don't want to end up simply having visited this world. Mary Oliver.
I'm not going to read a benediction, but I would like to dedicate this to somebody that we all love with all of our hearts, and we wish her all the love that we can hold. It's called love. Love, we thank you now for love. Love that stirs us and soothes us. Love that gathers us into all joy and delivers us from all brokenness. Love that hears the soundless language, that imagines and dreams, that can conquer all and willingly surrender everything. Love that brought us into our lives, and love that will carry us home. Thank you, everybody.